again. Yeah.
Welcome to the Man Utd stream. Hope you're doing well. Sunday night, and what a weekend we've had, or what a day we've had. Today has just been a roller coaster of a ride. I mean, 12:30 kickoff against Leeds, but that's not the end of it, is it? That's not the end of it. That's just a start. The 1-1 draw against Leeds was boring, dull, not exciting, whatever you want to call it. But what we've had since then is absolute chaos, fireworks, just absolute madness. And it's, of course, to do with Ruben Amorim and his post-match press conference, which has left everybody gobsmacked, shocked, and now everybody's waiting for that news to come out. And you know what that news is? The news about Ruben Amorim being given his P45 and told to get out of Carrington, Old Trafford, wherever he is. And it's worrying. It's worrying because that's the noise coming out now. The noise coming out is that it looks very likely that this power struggle that's going on at Man Utd is not going to get resolved. It's not going to get resolved with Ruben Amorim backing down, or Jason Wilcox backing down, or Ineos backing down. It's going to end up with Ruben Amorim being given the sack. Unfortunately, that looks like it's already on the cards. It's just now a matter of time, having spoken to a few people since this press conference and looked at what's been just like a whirlwind of press, negative press, and they're all going in for Ruben Amorim. It's not Ineos that they're pointing their fingers at. They're pointing at Ruben Amorim. And look, I can't see him surviving this onslaught that he is under right now, this media storm that he himself has created by doing that post-match press conference. Let's say it like it is. And obviously his comments haven't gone down well. And all those people that have been waiting, hanging it off, waiting to see Ruben Amorim fall and then to kick him when he's down, that's exactly what they've done. This is it. This is the moment where the press have gone in hard. They're like sharks that have been circling Ruben Amorim for a long time, waiting for the moment to strike. And today is that moment. I'm telling you, the press have gone wild on Ruben Amorim. But Ruben Amorim's got a point. And that's what the title of the show is today. Ruben Amorim is calling out Ineos for lying to him, to misleading him about the project at Man Utd, the project that he was so eagerly told to join without giving him any time to think things over. They gave him an ultimatum. They said, with Man Utd, you haven't got time to think about it. You either accept or you reject the offer. So which one is it going to be? And if you accept the offer, you need to come and join us immediately. That's what we were discussing in the live stream earlier today. And yeah, he's been lied to. He's been lied to because what Ineos promised him was full backing, full financial backing. And he advised Ineos from the outset, whilst he was at Sporting, that he will be playing the same system that he's playing at Sporting, and he's going to implement that system at United. He made it very clear. And that's why he had an outburst today after the match, because he knows that he's right now the target man. Everyone is targeting Ruben Amorim, and Ineos being Ineos, Jason Wilcox being Jason Wilcox, they know how to dictate with the media. They know how to operate with the English media. They know how to deal with everything. There is no breakdown in communication. They are fully aware, and they've got mates within the establishment. They've got mates within the hierarchy in the press. And let's be honest, the press know that the buck stops with Ineos. And if Ineos decide someone's not going to get access to Man Utd, or the players, or exclusive interviews, Sky Sports not going to get in there, they're not going to go against Ineos, just the same like they haven't ever gone against the Glazers. How many people have gone against the Glazers openly? How many reporters, how many news broadcasting organisations do you see criticising the Glazers for what they've done to this great club? I mean, they've taken this national treasure of Man United, the biggest club in the country, in the world, and they've absolutely almost single-handedly destroyed all the legacy. They've just destroyed everything, and they continue to do so. Yet, nobody out there has questioned the Glazers. Nobody has really scrutinised them. Nobody's gone after them. The press haven't vilified them. They've just ignored the elephant in the room, the Glazers. And now Ineos have come in and they're doing the same thing. And you've got to remember, this is that relationship between the owners and the press. And we've had it even with YouTube content creators. Those who get access to Man United end up towing the line. You see it, you know what I'm talking about. There's lots of people out there who, when they get access to Man United, they will end up not criticising Ineos or the club for whatever they're doing. In fact, they will go out their way to justify what's going on at Man United. And that's where, obviously, their independence is questioned. But one thing I'm really pleased about is I can see Ruben Amorim hasn't been sold out. He hasn't sold out. He's not sold out to Ineos. He's not sold out to anybody. He is his own man. But reality is that being his own man means that he's going to get the sack. He's going to get the sack. There's no two ways about it. It's just now a matter of time. He's on thin ice and we're just watching the poor bloke just walking on ice, and we're waiting. We're waiting for that one step too far and he's going to get swooped away. And Ineos are going to make that call. There's nobody else. He's left it. He's left the ball in Ineos's court. He's made his statement. He said, look, I'm here until they replace me with somebody else. That's clear. He's saying that I'm going to get the sack. They're going to replace me with somebody else. It's just a matter of time. And that's it. And it's unfortunate things are ending this way. But do I blame Ruben Amorim? Yeah, there's partly some blame on his shoulders. He should have seen this coming. He should have seen that they're not backing him. He should have kicked off in the summer. He should have kicked off even before then. He should have got everything in writing from them. That you're going to back me. You're going to back me. You're going to give me this. And I'm going to do this. And that's the only way. And then the whole concept of him saying, I'm a manager, I'm not the coach. But then, when Ineos announced Ruben Amorim, it's clear now, I've checked it, it is head coach. It's head coach in every single publication, every single press release. It was, we've appointed a new head coach in Ruben Amorim. So Ineos were clear from the outset that their structure was, they're going to bring this yes man in. They're going to bring this yes man who's going to do everything for the team, but they get to make the ultimate decision about which players come in, which players go out. Everything is in their hands. They just need someone to come in and do the dog's body work. Hence why they went with Ruben Amorim and not Conte, not someone experienced, not someone who brings in their own style and philosophy. They brought in Ruben Amorim, hoping that he's just a young coach who's going to just come in and listen to everything what Ineos are going to tell him. And what Jason Wilcox and the likes will sit down and say, right, you're doing this, and that's it. But what's backfired on them is that Ruben Amorim doesn't want to do that. Ruben Amorim is saying, look, no, I'm not prepared to do that. I'm going to stick with my way of doing things, my philosophy, and I'm the manager. I'm in control. I've got overall authority. I should have overall authority over all decisions at this club. But clearly, he's not getting that authority. That's what's happening. So what I think is going to happen, very likely, is that he will... I wouldn't be even surprised. Now, call me crazy, but I won't even be surprised if we get something in the morning, Monday morning, we get news that they've parted ways. I would not be surprised. I don't want to see that happen. I feel like Ruben Amorim is being scapegoated, but I can't see it changing from here on. And I'm going to actually quickly go back to the press conference because I want everyone to watch this with me. I'll try and skip the crappy questions and go straight to exactly the questions that obviously caused all this uproar and everything. We'll quickly go and watch that, and then once we do, I think it's it really starts here Let me go and put this on for you because it is, and then I will come to the chat, guys, and go through what we're all saying. Let me just put that there. Let's go and watch this. It's
in this wing, obviously be linked with Roma. Kind of need somebody who can come on and change the game, and what you did that week.
No, Josh needs to be prepared
so this is the
to
question
play
about
in every
Joshua
game. And
Zirkzee.
all the players need to be
doesn't
ready
sound
to. If
confident
you play
either
20
about
minutes,
Joshua
you need
Zirkzee
to play
staying.
20 minutes to help the team. He does that, so he's a team. He's a player from our team, and that's it.
Okay, last question for James. Ruben,
even in difficult weeks this season, you're always very upbeat. Obviously, just on Friday, you look pretty downbeat. See, talking about transfers and systems. Can I just ask? Is nothing's changed? You still feel very much that confidence from the board and everything. Yeah.
Guys, to stop with that, and
Okay, so he's put the question to him about him not looking upbeat, and has something changed in relationship with the board and the transfer budget and things like that, and so you can see he's clearly uncomfortable, and this is where the crucial part of the rant, or whatever you want to call it, starts. The lifting of the lid, whatever you want to say, this is where it starts, and then he just goes off on one.
I noticed that you receive selective information about everything. I came here to be the manager of Manchester United, not to be the coach of Manchester United. And that is clear. I know that my name is not Tuchel, is not Conte, is not Mourinho, but I'm the manager of Manchester United. And it's going to be like this for 18 months, or when the board decided to change. So that was my point. I want to finish with that.
I'll stop there quickly. I'll explain what he's saying. So for those who might not pick this up. So he's saying, I'm not Tuchel, I'm not Mourinho, whatever, Conte, but I'm the manager. So he's saying, look, yes, there's these proven managers out there, and I'm not a big name, but I am the manager. I see myself as the manager, the one person in control of everything going on at Man United. That is what I am. So I'm not a coach. I am the manager. And he's trying to... who's he telling this to? Because is he telling us, or is he telling Ineos this? Is he speaking directly to Jason Wilcox and Jim Ratcliffe about being the only one in charge here? Because I went through earlier what a manager is and what a head coach is, for those people who might not understand what each role is and how they are different. But I'll go through that in a minute, but let's carry on.
I'm not going to quit. I will do my job.
I'm not going to quit
until other guy is coming here to replace me.
Do you feel that, maybe certain assurances around things about the ability to manage this team that you thought you had? Do you not feel that?
I just want to say that I'm going to be the manager of this team, not just the coach, and I was really clear on that. And that is going to finish in 18 months, and then everyone is going to move on. That was the deal. That is my job, not to be a coach. If people
stop.
cannot...
Whoa. This is crucial as well. So he says the words, in 18 months, that'll be end. I'll leave. That was the deal. And then he straight away goes, that was the deal, not to be the coach, but to be the head, to be the manager. Let's go back a little bit. This is really interesting.
Everyone is going to move on. That was the deal. That is my job, not to be a coach. If
that is
people cannot handle the Gary Nevilles and the criticisms of everything, we need to change the club. No, guys, I just want to say that I came here to be the manager of Manchester United, not to be the coach. And every department, the scouting department, the sport director needs to do their job. I will do mine for 18 months, and then we move on.
All right, thank you, guys. Thank you.
That is crazy. So he says it a couple of times. So he's reiterated what he's saying. He's saying, I came here and the deal was I'm the manager. The deal was I'll be the manager. The deal was I'll be the manager. 18 months. That's what I've got left. And at the end of it, I will leave. But the deal was I'd be the manager. Everyone else does their job. The scouting department, everybody else working behind the scenes, they do their job. I do my job. That's what he's... But it's clear. You can see from his face, he is saying, yeah, that's it. It's the end. It's the end for him. He's not being treated like the manager. He's not being treated like the person in charge at United. And you can see his frustration. You can see his frustration. And it's clear to me and to lots of others that this guy has been misled by Ineos. He's been misled. He's been brought in and he's been left to pick up the pieces. And he's the scapegoat. He is the scapegoat for everybody right now. I mean, yes, there's a fan base out there who are not happy with him. And whatever your take is on Ruben Amorim not being the right manager, look, I accept his win rate isn't good, but you've got to also look at what he's been sold. He's been sold a complete lie. And there's, look, I came across this clip with Jamie Carragher. Let me just put this on for you.
But no matter what it is, I don't think he is in any position whatsoever to be questioning the people who appointed him.
Why not?
Because he's not good enough. He's not good enough to be Manchester United's manager. He's barely competent enough to be a Premier League manager right now. And that's not me being disrespectful to Ruben Amorim. I think he's been there now well over 12 months. And I think the majority of managers in the Premier League who are all managing different other clubs at different ends of the table would look at Manchester United and think, I'd get more points than that. But no matter what it is, I don't think he is in any position.
All right, so that's Jamie Carragher. I mean, look, of course, look, Jamie Carragher is going to come out, say what he needs to say. He's putting his foot in there. But yeah, anyway, quickly going on this. Some insiders believe that Sir Jim Ratcliffe has shown he knows little about football during his tenure at Manchester United. So far, he has relied heavily on Omar Brada, Jason Wilcox and co. The frustration brewing with certain decisions that have been made amongst the hierarchy in recent months. Opinions on Ruben Amorim's decisions are conflicted and have been for a while now. Look, this is now, all of it's coming out. We're getting lots of other journalists also just stepping in, saying what they need to say in terms of what's going on with Ruben Amorim. Look, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. It was always going to happen. It was always going to be a case of once, like I said, everybody else, if they start with looking at Ruben Amorim and saying, right, okay, this is, another scenario where he's come out and lifted the lid somewhat. And now there's no way back. I can't see a way back out for him. I cannot see a way back out for Ruben Amorim. And yes, his record isn't good. I've said that for many, many times before. I've said, look, Ruben Amorim's win record is questionable, and that's where the problem lies. And he's an easy target for a lot of people to pick at and say he's the one who's not right. But the reason why he's been lied to is he was told that they were going to work with his system and his formation or whatever it was. He came in, it was clear from day one. I can't remember exactly, but I'm sure he said something on the lines of that. This is what this is what I told them. This is the way I play. This is the way I played in Sporting, and this is the way I'll play at United. Early on, I think when he mentioned his formation and system and whatnot, and he made it very clear to the United board, whether it was Omar Brada, Wilcox or whoever, that I'm going to come in and I'm going to play my way and my way only. And they said, yes, that's fine. We'll bring you the players that you need to play this system formation. They didn't do that. So they've left him out to dry. And clearly he's now feels like he's not getting the backing. Come January, the transfer window, Ineos are not putting the money where their mouth is. That's what's happened. We all now know why this is happening, why they're not making the signings that Ruben Amorim wants or has asked for. Ineos, we know, are just all about saving money. And I don't care what anyone says about, oh no, Ineos are investing or they're doing. No, they're not. They're not investing. They've seen Ruben Amorim. Look, I'm not saying they have to trust in Ruben Amorim's process. In fact, I myself have questioned Ruben Amorim's three at the back. I've said for many times, Ruben Amorim's three at the back doesn't work. We need to bring in different style, different formation. Be fluid. I've said to Ruben Amorim, you're gonna sack your way. You're gonna get yourself sacked by doing this. Don't do this. Don't do this. Stop. Please stop. But clearly he's just stuck with it, and he's doubled down. And I think it might even be because of being told by the hierarchy, by Wilcox. If Wilcox has come up to him and said, "Look, I want you to change to 4-3-3." And he's turned around and said, "Screw you! I'm not doing that. That's not what I came in for. I came in with a different angle. I came in with a completely different thing." Now, again, this news broke earlier, where I was actually, this is what I was talking about earlier, where I was saying growing tension between Ruben Amorim and Jason Wilcox. Sources close to Manchester United say Wilcox would like Amorim to be more tactically adaptable, while the Portuguese has also been told bringing in signings this transfer window is unlikely. So I think that's where he's kind of thought, right, okay, clearly they're not going to back me. They're not going to back me. Now, James Ducker of The Telegraph had this to say: Ruben Amorim has raised doubts about his Manchester United future after putting himself on a collision course with sporting director Jason Wilcox and Old Trafford board. Extraordinary outburst felt very much like a back me or sack me ultimatum. It's been brewing. Well, look, we know what happens. He's done what the Chelsea boss has just got sacked for. And in fact, the new Chelsea boss has been confirmed in Rosner, I think about an hour ago or something, or is bound to be confirmed, very close to be confirmed. And then we've got news coming out on Nunes as well, the West Ham manager possibly getting a sack. So look, clubs are making their moves. Managers get the sack, and they get the sack pretty quickly, especially if they're on a collision course with the board. And in this case, it's sad to see it end this way. I didn't expect it to end this way, but again, we heard the news a couple of days ago that something's not right, and January transfer signings are on hold. We're not going to go and bring anybody in. And I immediately then, something's not right. I mean, why would they not go and back the manager and bring in players? I mean, okay, we did Semenyo. There was a talk about Semenyo. Why was it true? Was it actually true? Now I'm even doubting whether United actually made the bid for Semenyo, and who was asking for Semenyo. What's all that about? But I also know the key position that we need to fill is in the midfield. In the midfield, we need to bring in somebody, and we haven't. We haven't been able to do that. And I don't care who's watching United play. Everyone can agree that we've got a problem in the midfield. We do need more players. But look, let me go to the chat. Let me see what everyone else thinks about this whole scenario. It's never easy. Sanis, welcome, mate. Hope you're doing well from Nigeria. Also, we need to touch on the AFCON results as well. I'll come to them in a minute, but let me just do the chat first. A civil war out in public now. They have to sack Amorim. Every presser now is going to be fireworks. Yeah, look, he's outed them, hasn't he? He's outed them, and they'll be pissed. They'll be pissed. They'll be watching on thinking, right, I told you, he's gone hostile. And when you've got a hostile manager like this, you need to get on top of it. And I'm sure the Glazers, Ineos, whoever's running the show behind the scenes, they'll be like, right, okay, look, do you know what? The guy's going to lift the lid. He's going to probably say more things that we're not happy with. So let's get him out of here before he does that. Another 12 mil down the drain. Unbelievable. Sheikh Yassim Council come in with a cheeky offer, please God, yeah, man, that would really change everyone's mood, I swear. He said 18 months and he's off. He knows there's no backing. Ineos spin in full effect. Yeah. He's got no backing. There's no two ways about it. He's been told, look, come in, do a job for us. Whatever it was, it's clearly not in line with what he's getting right now. Whatever he's getting right now is not what he was promised, and he's clearly, whether he's privately thrown his dummy out of the pram, and now he's had the frustration has boiled over, and he's let loose out to the press. Which, look, we all know Ruben Amorim is an emotional kind of guy. We knew after the Grimsby match, I mean, he was ready to walk, wasn't he? But then he must have stopped and realised, look, I'm not gonna go and actually and start. I'm not going to lose my bonus over this. Surely, why would he do that? Why would he do that? Southgate appointed by the other end of the week. I guarantee it. I don't know. Southgate, I think, I hope not. I really don't. Lawyers working on how they can pay the least amount right now. Probably, but they did the same with Dan Ashworth. And it's funny because I mentioned Dan Ashworth the other day, and I was like, look, they did this with Dan Ashworth. They're not scared to get rid of managers, Ineos. If you look over at Nice, I think no manager at Nice under Ineos has survived a full 2 years. Let that sink in. No manager under Ineos at Nice has survived 2 years. So, yeah, I guess the writing's on the wall. Temes, welcome to the show. Hope you're doing well. Thank you for your comment. It's first timer, but yeah, thank you, man. Please, Ineos, make plan for transfer to January. Neves, Schlotterbeck, Adeyemi, Kone, Keys, Semet to United is better for next season. Please, Ineos, make plan for Amorim. Also, make plan for signing loan Gallagher, Edison. Mate, you've got a long list. You've got a shopping list there. I mean, I can't see anyone coming in. And that's really heartbreaking for me because I really wanted to see United kick on. And look what's going on in the Premier League today. Look at the crazy results. This is one chance we've got of really making up ground and going and winning against all odds and getting into the Champions League spots this year. It can be done. We are that close. We are that close. This is completely untenable for 18 months. Sack him now. What must the players be thinking? Look, no way can they allow this continue. It would be negligent by the board to allow a disgruntled manager to stay on in their job. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It would be absolutely crazy unless by some miracle they go and resurrect, some kind of relationship with Ruben Amorim and they kind of sort things out. It can happen. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but once you've gone out in public and criticised, essentially took shots at the board and at Ineos, then someone has to apologise. Can you really see Ruben Amorim apologising? Can you? I can't. I really can't. I can't see Ruben Amorim apologising and backing down. And if he's not going to back down, well, then they're going to have to make that call. The board will have to grow a pair of balls and say, right, okay, enough's enough. This is it. They told Amorim he was getting a Bentley. He turned up and he realised he got a Mondeo. Yeah, exactly. How's he been? Danon, welcome to the show, mate. Thank you for your comment. How's he been misled? He was appointed as first team coach. In his first interview, he referred to himself as the first team coach. I remember that. Now he denies it and says he came as manager. He's a bullshitter. That is true. I said this in the earlier stream I did. Which did I bring it up? I'm not sure. I can't remember bringing it up. But there is an official a press release from Man United on the website, which clearly states he's coming as new head coach. So I didn't get that part either. What is he trying to say? Is he trying to say no, he's no longer the coach, or is he saying no, I'm not happy with being the coach, I want to be the manager? So that aspect of of his press conference hasn't gone down well. There's quite a lot of people who've jumped on the back of that and said he's bullshitting. That's not true. That's not true. He came in as head coach. He's now claiming to be the manager. What is this all about? He can't be the manager because they never brought him in as a manager. For me, I've always said one thing. This is how I would like a football club to be ran, which is you'd never dictate how the team plays or what players you bring in just because of the manager. You bring in players for the football club. You play a style of football for the football club, not for the manager. You don't allow the manager to dictate how the philosophy works at the club and everything else, because in what we've seen in recent times is managers come and go and you're left to pick up the pieces. So ideally, you should differentiate between the manager or the coach in this case and your team and your squad of players and what they're expected to do. I think that's where the confusion lies. So I agree with you. Look, he came in as a head coach. He came in, it's clear. There's no disputing that. Everyone, there might be some Amorim backers or fanboys out there who are saying Amorim, was the manager. He wasn't manager. And I'm not defending. I'm not saying Ruben Amorim now either, by the way. I'm just saying, look, these are the facts. I'm going on off the facts. I'm being impartial. I'm not taking sides. I'm not saying Ruben Amorim is right, and I'm not saying he's wrong either. He's got his complaints. He's saying that I was lied to. Let's see what Ineos do. Well, there is only one option in my eyes what Ineos can do, and that is to put out a statement saying, we've agreed to part ways. We've agreed to part ways because clearly things aren't working right. Sorry, but believe Amorim over Wilcox and Breda. From what Amorim's saying right now, I believe him. I believe what is going on right now in terms of him not getting the backing. He's not getting. We all can see it. I mean, how can you sit there and allow this manager to not get the backing and go and get players for him? He's asked for these players. He's asked for it. I'm not bothered about his, I'm a manager, I'm a coach. I'm not really concerned about that. What I am concerned about is that he was sold a lie by saying, come to Old Trafford and we'll give you whatever you need to cook. It's clear that's happened, right? No way has Ruben Amorim jumped from Sporting and coming to Manchester when they've said, we just want you to come in and we'll dictate everything and you can't play your system, you can't play your formation, you can't do anything and we'll do everything. I don't for a moment think Ruben Amorim would have said yes to it. I think Ruben Amorim was given assurances that, look, you come in and we will give you what you need. Hence why in the summer he put together a list of players that he wanted and they went halfway to get them. They didn't actually go full in and go and get the players that he needed, and he's been left short. He's been left short. And right early on in the season, he alluded to that. He said, you don't know what's just happened. You don't know what is happening behind the scenes. And I believe what he was trying to say is, I've not been given the players that they told me that I will get. Hence, I've been lied to. I've been misled. And Ineos are now trying to cover up their tracks. And that's exactly what they're doing. We do not let Ruben Amorim put a smoke screen in front of you, right? Ruben Amorim, in the sense that do not let this whole saga, do not let the press, do not let Ineos put a smoke screen of Ruben Amorim in front. Do not scapegoat him. Do not scapegoat Ruben Amorim. Whatever he's done, I believe that he has owned up to it. He's openly said, my win rate isn't good enough. I'm not doing well enough. I need to be doing better. We as a Man United team need to do better. I need to be getting the best out of these players, and I will. That's what his is. So he's putting his hands up saying, look, I'm not happy with the win rate. But what we're not hearing is Ineos saying anything like that. Ineos are not saying, look, we came in and we promised you that we're going to get back to the top and we're going to put money down and we're going to make this team cook and we're going to bring in Ruben Amorim and we're going to back him and whatnot. But they've not done that. So I agree with everybody. Look, I'm not in favour of Ruben Amorim right now on his current record, you see me on watch-alongs, I'm absolutely pissed at the way United play. Even today, I was pissed about how United played. I felt like United could have gone out there and won the game. And they should have won the game. And unfortunately, playing 3 at the back in the Premier League is not working. It's not working. Who's implementing that? It's Ruben Amorim, the head coach or the the manager, whatever we want to call him. So I agree that Ruben Amorim is not doing well enough. But do I also agree that he has been led down this garden path by Ineos? Absolutely. Absolutely. Do not get confused. Jason Wilcox is not our friend. He's not here thinking, right, okay, I want to do everything best for the fans and the team. He's looking after him, number one. He's looking after himself, and he's looking after his employer, who is Jim Ratcliffe. That's how it works, unfortunately. These billionaires, they don't really care about the fans. They don't give a shit. You know, when it comes to increasing the prices on the tickets, they'll do it like that without thinking about it. They don't give a crap. So Ruben Amorim, I think he's going to be scapegoated. He is going to be sacked. I can't see it working out unless something dramatic happens. I'm seriously, tomorrow morning, I'm looking at it thinking, we're going to get news of some kind of news saying, they've agreed to disagree. And they've decided to walk and part ways, or whatever, however they want to put it. But I went through the James Ducker article with you, or the tweet, but he's not the only journalist. There's lots of other journalists. Henry Winter saying the same thing. Let me just bring that up for you so you can see Henry Winter. He said the same thing. He said, Henry Winter says, Ruben Amorim's job title is head coach, not manager. He's either calling out people upstairs or the media or talking in riddles. He's not in a strong enough position, given results, performances, 200 million plus spent in the summer, to be talking like this. See what I mean? The Sharks are circling. Henry Winter is not a big fan of Ruben Amorim, and he's gone in there and stuck it in there, the dagger in the back, right? Okay, he's saying, right, yeah, Ruben Amorim doesn't deserve, he hasn't got the credit in the bank. How many times have I heard that today, actually? He hasn't got the credit in the bank. Samuel Luckhurst, another one. I mean, Samuel Luckhurst, we all know he's not liked by Ruben Amorim, and they've got a really toxic relationship with Samuel Luckhurst and Omar Brada. And he said Wilcox striker targets Delap, Sesko contradict his billing as the best eyes in football. Vivell has done little to earn his influence, but 24 wins from 63 games, finishing 15th and losing to Spurs in a final is not enough credit in the bank for the manager. So I think he's taken a quite diplomatic approach there. So he's not just simply gone in to Ruben Amorim. He's actually first number one targeted Wilcox for saying, look, Wilcox apparently is one of the best in the game and as the best eyes in football and is best in class, but he's the one who's literally targeted Delap and Sesko, and we all saw what Sesko is doing right now, right? And Vivell has done little to earn his influence. So yeah, he's saying, well, Vivell has said, oh, bring in this player, bring in that player, but what's he actually done to prove himself? But the buck, of course, stops with the manager, head coach, whatever you want to call it, and he's had 24 wins from 63 games. That is not good enough. Not good enough. Finishing 15th and losing to Spurs in the final, and he hasn't got enough credit in the bank. And that is the term being used by many, many journalists tonight. Everyone's talking about it. Everyone's saying the same thing. Ruben Amorim simply hasn't got the credit in the bank to be making these statements against the owners, because what they're essentially saying is that if you're winning, you can call out the owners, because the owners really can't do anything about it. They're not going to sack you because you're doing a good enough job. But right now, Amorim calling out Ineos and the board, they'll look at it and think, well, he's not doing a good enough job anyway, so let's just get rid of him. and that's inevitable. That is the next thing. I'm sure some of you will be happy. I know Nish will be. I know Nish will be happy. He'll be celebrating because he's been calling for Amorim to be out. But look, yeah, the standards have dropped at United. Standards have dropped. But I think he's going to get the sack, not because the standards have dropped, not because he's not got the win rate, not because he's not doing well. It's because he's called out Ineos. There we go. It's nothing to do with the football. It's got nothing to do with football. If it had something to do with football, I think Ineos would have either got rid of him a long time ago, I think at end of last year. So for me, yeah, Ineos, I want all of them gone. Absolutely, man. Niche, that is my point. I look at it and think, I want all of them flipping gone. I'm sick and tired of this shit. I'm sick and tired of it because they clearly don't know what they're fucking doing either. Ineos don't know what they're doing. They're giving it large ones about, oh yeah, we'll get rid of manager and Ruben Amorim this. And 2 months ago, it was flipping Jim Ratcliffe telling us how he's going to keep him here for 3 years. So this is why you can't trust these guys. You can't trust a word that comes out of their mouth. You cannot trust a word. But anyway, I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to bring a full show in the morning about everything that's going on. We might get some big news in the morning. We might. I'm going to be monitoring everything, checking everything. We'll see what happens in the morning and see whether the news breaks. It always happens. I'm telling you, Monday morning, about 10 o'clock, news breaks and the stock market will open. It'll affect Man United stock price and whatnot. There's lots of other things that come into play. It's not good. It's not good to have upheaval at your club. It's not, especially in the bloody transfer market when it's right now when we're actually in the transfer window. And I feel like that as well might play into Ineos' hands because Ineos want a distraction. They want a distraction. They want an excuse for not going in and buying any players in January. And it buys them more time. The fans are going to be distracted with, who's the new manager going to be? If there's a new manager, is Ruben Amorim going to get the sack? Blah, blah, blah. And no one's going to be thinking about the transfer window where we really needed to go and make some serious purchases. ML says Ruben does have a veto on players, so what you're saying is not quite right, and we don't know what it says. He's saying contract manager or coach. Well, nobody knows what it says within that contract. You're right. I agree. We don't know what is actually part of his contract. Does he? Well, he has a veto on the players. We heard that really early on. Yes, I agree. I remember him saying that he's got. I think it was in a Sky interview where he said, "I've got a decision on the players." But I don't know what's happened since then because in yesterday's press conference, the question was it yesterday? It was yesterday in the embargoed press conference. Someone asked him the question of whether Zertsky's coming or leaving and something. And he said he'll have to speak to Jason Wilcox. I don't know anything about it. And if he does, he's going to go to Jason Wilcox, which led many people in the press room to think, what? So is Jason Wilcox the guy making the call? And that's why now, given his press conference today, everyone is now putting two and two together and saying either they've taken away some of his powers, which he should be allowed to make them decisions, or he's never had them from the word out, from word go. We don't know. But yeah, good point. I mean, it's a difficult one. I don't know what to make of it. I don't really know what to make of it. I just feel like we needed to actually go in this January window and do some business, get the club cooking. And I feel like right now, this is an absolute huge distraction for everybody concerned at the club. Imagine what the players are going to be thinking, like for sure we've heard a few of you say today, what the players will be thinking. Like they sat there today after, I'd say, a performance where they probably thought, right, okay, we did well. We drew against Leeds, although I feel like we could have won. What do they think right now? What are they thinking? Ruben Amorim clearly is upset. You can see from his demeanor that he's really, really upset with what is going on. What is going on? And yeah, do you know what? I don't think he's got the power that we're being told he's got. Clearly he's unhappy. And clearly, the way he said it as well, I'm not the coach, I'm the manager. I'm not the coach, I'm the manager. So he says contract, manager or coach. I don't know what it says in his contract, manager or coach. Well, I find it very difficult for United to do press releases saying we've appointed a new head coach and then they write something else in his contract. I can't see that happening. I really can't. Unless what they've done is they've verbally told him you're the manager, but in his contract it says he's the head coach. Like as in formality in the paperwork it says head coach, but in talks they've said, oh, you get to do all the transfers, you get to do all the nitty gritty, you get to decide contracts and things like that. You are the final authority on all these points, and yeah, you've got that say. And I think over time since he's joined, they've taken that away or he's never had that to begin with. It's going to be really interesting. Look, the more time goes on, and if he's allowed to stay on at United, I think he's going to let rip. I think he's going to let even more out. And I think that's where damage limitation will come into effect. Ineos will have to make the call and say, do we take this guy out now before he lets rip about everything? Or do we just stick with him and shut him up somehow, give him what he wants? If he wants a little bit more power, give him that power. But there's a power struggle. It's clear. Jason Wilcox, is trying to dictate things, trying to tell Ruben Amorim what to do, and Ruben Amorim doesn't like it. Ruben Amorim does not like being told what to do, and he's sticking with his way of doing things. And yeah, it's not working. And you've got to remember, he had that credit in the bank with Sporting. He came in and he got given the reins, the full reins of Sporting. He did everything. He decided he was like the mini Alex Ferguson out in Sporting, and he thought he'd get the same power at Man United. I don't agree with that, by the way. I don't agree any manager or coach coming in and being given the power over United like that. They're gone are the days of Sir Alex Ferguson where one man could control and do everything. Unfortunately, you've got to build up that credit. You can't just come in and from year one expect everything to be under your control. Unfortunately, I don't think it works like that anymore. You need to dictate, you need to actually spread out the decision-making amongst a few people that they can put in checks and balances. So if one manager comes in and he goes on a complete loony bin and wants to bring in, say, Anthony or, Sancho or whatever, there's checks in there that can stop that from happening and say, right, okay, look, we're not going to pay over the odds for a player like this. So no, I know you want him, but we're not going to get him for you. So things like that have to come into play. And unfortunately, whatever's happening behind the scenes, it's clearly now going to spill out into the public arena, and someone has to change something. ML says, Amorim in. Yeah, look, I don't want him to go. I don't want him to go. Deep down, I feel like right now, at this point of the season, we needed to go out there and sign players. And I feel like this is the biggest distraction that could have happened. And this is all planned out, or if not planned out, it's working in favour of Ineos. And I keep saying it. We cannot stop looking at the bigger picture here. The bigger picture is the ownership. They're running this club like a shit show. Absolute shit show. And it all comes back to finances. Now, you cannot tell me, like Nish said earlier, which is, imagine if we had an owner who actually had some flipping money. Do you think we'd be talking about Ruben Amorim right now? Do you think we'd be talking about all this shit show? No, we wouldn't. we would not be talking about that. We'd be looking at building this club, wiping out the debt, building a new stadium, bringing in the players that we can, and cooking. That's what would be happening right now. And Ineos haven't done that for us, haven't done that one bit. And I respect everyone who's saying Amorim out, Amorim in. I get where everyone's coming from. There's a good evidence that he's not done well in his win. But I've always said it. I've said to you, look, if Ruben Amorim starts lying to us and says, oh, I'm doing really well, I'm a really good coach, then I'd call him out for it. But he hasn't. He's openly said, I'm not doing well. I need to do better. So I like that. I really like that about Ruben Amorim. He isn't doing well. He isn't winning enough games. But the argument he will, of course, bring to the table is, well, I'm not getting the right players. I've not been given the tools to do the right job. And now when it's actually comes to the point where they can bring in players and give them to me and I can actually work with them, they've turned around and said, no, we're not bringing any players in. So who knows? We'll find out in a couple of days what the story is. I'm sure we're going to get more and more news coming out on this. Just finishing off the show with news from the AFCON, guys. We have got not so much good news because Cameroon won against South Africa today 2-1. And that unfortunately means that Mbeumo, our star man, is staying out at the AFCON in Morocco for at least another game he's going to miss for United, and he's going to be out playing in the AFCON. Unfortunately, it's not good news for us. And same thing with Ahmad. Ahmad's out there as well. He is, again, his team qualified as well, so they've won the knockout game, and they're going further. They're going further. Honestly, I thought tonight I might actually have some positive news on someone returning, maybe an Ahmad, maybe Mbeumo, but unfortunately we haven't got anyone returning. But good luck to them. I want them to do well as well, but of course, the selfishness in me says, come back, Ahmad, and come back, Mbeumo. We want you. We need you. We need to cook. ML says, look at all the players he wanted. Not his first choice. Sesko was not his choice. No, Sesko wasn't. I've said that many times, actually. That's one thing that I've said. And, people, that's a good point you made there, ML, because there's people out there who thought Sesko was his purchase. It wasn't. He never wanted Sesko. He did not want Sesko. He wanted Watkins. His choice was Watkins. So let's not confuse the matter. Ruben Amorim wanted Watkins. Ruben Amorim wanted Baleba. Ruben Amorim wanted another right back. He wanted another right back. But they never got him that. They never got in these players for him. They did not back him in the summer. So do not be fooled. Do not be fooled in thinking, oh, but Ruben Amorim got all his players. Look at him. He got Sesko. He wanted Mbeumo. He got Mbeumo. He wanted Kuna. He got Kuna. The rest of the signings, he didn't actually want. He didn't want Sesko, but they forced him on him. Vivel overruled Ruben Amorim. The board, Wilcox, overruled Ruben Amorim, and they bought Sesko too. As we've just heard from, as I've just read, Samuel Luckhurst said that Wilcox is the guy with Vivel who decided to bring and spend all that money. No one's talking about that. No one's talking about it because no one really cares about Wilcox and Vivel because they're not forward facing. We don't see them day in, day out. We don't hear from them day in, day out. So they're not under public scrutiny. So everyone forgets that we spent 70 million on a striker who can't flipping score. Who can't score right now. So yeah, give it a rest for those people who say, look, Amorim has been given everything. No, he hasn't. He hasn't got. And I'm fair in my analysis. I'm fair. Yes, Ruben Amorim is not good in certain aspects, but also you've got to look at the other side. I'm not going to be biased here. I'm not going to say, oh yeah, Ruben Amorim out, just because there's certain people pointing to the fact that he's not got a good enough win rate. We also have to look at the other side. He's not been given the right tools. Head coach, do not get a veto on players. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't know about the veto on the players and what's actually in his contract. No one knows. Nobody knows. I mean, in fact, there was someone actually, a journalist who came out saying something like, "Oh, Ruben Amorim this, and he's not he's a manager. He's a head coach. He's not the manager." And someone said, "Did you read his bloody contract?" And yeah, no one knows. That's clearly confidential, and even if he does end up getting the sack, we'll never know. We will never know, because they'll end up signing an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement, where he can't say anything about Man United or things like that, or about Ineos. They'll wrap him up in all legal stuff and make sure he can't ever spill the beans, shall we say. But right now there is no NDA, so he could technically spill the beans if he really had to. And I think he's the fact that he's come out publicly and said, "I'm the manager, I'm not the head coach." For me, I think that speaks volumes than his contract. So I believe, when I know people are saying, no, he's the head coach, and that's what was announced, and I've said it as well, that, oh look, he was announced as a head coach. But I believe that he was brought in as the manager. That's my take on it. I don't know whether you agree with me or not. You might disagree. ML, you might disagree. I don't know. But for me, I believe when they sat down with him and talked to him, they brought him in as the manager, and they gave him the full power as a manager to do all sorts, to do all the contract talks, to negotiate and select his players and pick out the players that he wants. And then, because if you look back at that press conference, he says something like, "I want others, like the scouting department and others, to do their jobs." What do you think he means by that? He means that, look, I'm the manager and I'm telling them to go and bring these players in. I'm telling them I want this, and they're not doing their jobs. That's what I take from it. I might be completely wrong. You might disagree. You might think he is the head coach. I don't know whether ML, you agree that he's the manager or he's the head coach. I can't tell. Ineos bought this guy in, and he knew he played 3 at the back, and now they want to play 4 at the back. You can't tell someone how to do their job. All right, so I think you're in line with me. You're in line with me. So that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Okay. So we agree. So we're both agreed that he's been lied to, and he's because I don't believe that either. That's bullshit. I agree with you on that, because no way did he come across and say, "Oh, I'm not going to play 3. I'll play your formation. I'll play 4 at the back." No way. We know from day one, the moment this guy walked in, the first thing he bloody said was 3 at the back. The first thing he said was 3 at the back. I'm going to play my way, and we're going to go through a difficult period, but we're going through a storm, whatever he said, and then we'll come good. What you're saying is, I've got shit players at my disposal, but I'm still going to make them play 3 at the back, and it's going to be shit. We're going to lose. We're going to struggle. But then January, summer, I'm going to get my players who do suit this system, and we're going to start winning. That's what he said. That's what he essentially was telling us through his poetic way. He was telling us, I'm gonna play 3 at the back from the word go. The players are shit at United. They're not good enough to play this system, but I'll do it anyway. And we're going to struggle. You're going to see us lose. We're going to see us get battered. But once I start bringing my players in, and as promised by Ineos, when I get the funds available and I can go and buy my players, everything's going to change and good days are going to come. That's what he said. Remember what he said the last day of the Premier League, where he picked up the mic, went out into the centre of the pitch, and he said, good days are coming. Because he was under the impression that this summer, Ineos are going to turn up and are going to actually back him and bring in all the players that he wants. But guess what? They bought 2 out of the list of players that he wanted. 2. Kuna and Mbeumo. 2 players that are cooking right now in this formation and this system. That's all I have to say. I want to finish off with ML. I thank God for Amorim, because he needed to say Amorim had balls to call out these fuckers out. They promised him players for his system and they not kept their word. All these reports are on the payroll. The reporters need to be called out. Absolutely. I made that point. I don't know whether you joined just now or what, but I made that point just earlier, saying all the press are on the payroll, man. They know they've got to stay in check. They've got to stay in line to make sure that Ineos and Man United keep giving them access to the club. That's for sure. And Amorim, yeah, man, he's got the balls. He's got the balls to call the Ineos out, and I'm happy with that. I really am happy with that, because that's what I've always said. That's why I've always liked Amorim. I've always liked Amorim because he has got the balls to stick to his principles. I like people like that. I hate people who are going to be like, I'm gonna completely change everything I stand for because Ineos have asked me to, and they're paying me. Right? But he's not done that. He's not done that. And you have to give him credit for that. You have to give him credit. He's come out and you can see the amount of pressure this guy's on right now. He's under immense pressure. He's the forward-facing person of the club and he's getting shit from everybody, from fans, from the press, from Wilcox behind his arse, Barada, Jim Ratcliffe, but they're saying, change the system, change it, do this, do that. Why? Why, when you've broken all the promises that you made to bring in the players that I asked for? That's all it is. Imagine how Amorim family must be feeling. They have left their homeland and come to this shit club. Well done, Amorim. You've made a lot of mistakes, but big up. Look, it was always, it's crazy, but he was hesitant to join United because he knew that Ineos are experimenting right now. They have no clue what they're doing. They have no clue. It's unfortunate. It's another manager that's going to end up getting the sack, another rebuild, another cycle of the same thing. We go again and again and again. But this is how things work, man. This is how things work. And unfortunately, we can't stop it because we don't own the club. If we had a decent owner, the owner would put their money where their mouth is. That's all I'm saying. I'm saying he hasn't been given the backing. Whatever you think of Ruben Amorim, whatever you think about Ruben Amorim and his win rate, and I've called him out on that many times. I've said it. Look, it's not good enough. You're not getting the best out of the players. But you also have to look at the other side of the coin, which is he's not got the players he wanted. That's all for today, guys. ML, thank you for your comments. Make sure you hit the subscribe. It's nice having another viewpoint. Niche, of course, legend, always. Don Ragnar, thanks as well, man. Always nice seeing you. Tames, thank you as well. Everybody else who's watching, make sure you hit the like. Make sure you subscribe as well. We're going to bring, of course, breaking news, if there is any, tomorrow morning to do with Ruben Amorim and Man United. Can this situation be resolved, or will this be the beginning of the end for Ruben Amorim? Thanks very much, guys, and I'll see you tomorrow morning.